Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo-woo. This morning I thought I'd do a predictions video where I kind of tuned in to see what you guys were interested in, and I hope that I got information on the thing that you wanted to know about most. You can always put a note in the comments, and maybe I'll talk about it on a future version of this. These are kind of fun for me to do, so I thought I would spend my Friday morning talking about what's going on in the world. Of course, I'm about to say some not nice things. This is being recorded on 4/12 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if anything happens just after that, just know, this is when this is recorded. So the first thing I want to talk about is the thing that my reading clients are asking about, which is war in the Middle East. You don't need a psychic to tell you that this is going to get worse before it gets better. And I think it's going to get quite ugly. Having said that, those of us in the United States are not necessarily going to be that impacted on a day-to-day basis, other than feeling really bad about what's going on. And if you have family in any of these areas that are affected, you're going to be seeing these images and you're going to freak out. And we're all going to freak out a little bit. I don't know what to say on this, except that it is going to end with some peace. Whether it's a happy ending, this is not a love story. You guys know that. But there will be resolution. This is not going to go on forever. And I do think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And having said that, there are going to be some things that are going to affect Americans directly. People are asking me about, try not to use words that YouTube will get this video banned for, attacks and things like that happening in the US. I do see a little bit of an uptick in that. I don't see it being a massive problem here. You guys know that sometimes we do things overseas that end up causing effects in other countries with a lot more attacks there than it does here. I am seeing a lot of conflict in the bigger cities, but not necessarily around the war in the Middle East. I am seeing a lot of this summer, particularly, I'm going to call it the summer of protest. That's really what I've been shown. There's going to be protests on lots of issues. Particularly, there's a homeless issue that's come up in the Supreme Court. They're going to be hearing on I think, April 22nd. A law that was put on the books, or communities were trying to restrict public camping. Basically, I'm going to put that politely, but communities don't really want to see these tent cities in their town squares. And so they were enacting laws trying to prevent that. And the lower courts said in certain areas of the country, this was affecting, the West Coast more than the East Coast, that wasn't allowed if there was no alternative. The Supreme Court's going to be hearing that this month. And I do believe that our very conservative Supreme Court is going to overturn that and allow communities to set and create laws around this public camping. I actually see that causing a lot of conflict. I see a lot of protests. I see a lot of groups of unhoused individuals who don't have a lot to lose, causing upset over this because they're feeling like they're being encroached on, and they are. But I see the conflict because the members of the community have been dealing with these tents on the other side of their schools for a long time and aren't really as sympathetic as they used to be. So that's where I'm seeing I'm also seeing issues and protests around the abortion issue, the immigration issue, and it feels like there's something else coming up that I don't know about, that's not on my radar yet, that is going to be causing a lot of protests. The question that gets asked of my clients is it safe to go to rallies? Is it safe to go to political events? I never want to say that it's not. I would just say use your own intuition. I personally have been to a few protests and the vibe isn't very good. Even when it's an issue I feel passionate about. So you have to feel for yourself. If you go to this event, how does it feel? Does it feel safe? Do you feel safe? If you don't, maybe protest in a different way, write a check or, write an article or news article. I'm not convinced that these protests do as much, but I don't know. I'm happy to be wrong on that issue. Feel it out. The other thing that comes up a lot around this, and I will tell you, years ago, I had a friend who was actually on a plane that went down. He actually got off the plane before it went down. He told me this story that I thought was really interesting, and I thought I'd share it with you. He felt very uncomfortable in this plane. Over the years, I've heard lots of people who were in these sort of near-miss situations telling me that just the vibe wasn't right or the energy was crackling. Use your own intuition. If you're feeling like something doesn't feel right, maybe allow yourself to just, pass on this event, pass on that situation. I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of them because I'm not necessarily seeing that. And I'm certainly not seeing planes going down. I'm telling you that I'm seeing what I have been seeing is a lot of planes being grounded because of this issue, with the maintenance of these planes. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but I'm saying that's not what I'm saying. Okay. So don't be worried, right? But use your own wisdom and play it by ear. And if you don't feel comfortable or safe, then maybe you shouldn't go there. The next thing I want to talk about is money issues. I'm hoping I'm getting the things that you guys are the most interested in, but I see money issues being up for everyone. I mean, we just had a most recent report on the inflation. You guys know things cost more no matter what they tell us. But I do see in general the price of food actually coming down a bit. I do see the price of gas going up a bit. I mean, as of this recording, it's kind of shooting up this morning. So that was an easy one. But I do think that's going to continue up off and on most of the summer. Prices of oil always goes up in the summer anyway, but that is going to start to affect the prices of product. I think most people are just going to be buying less. Eventually, what I am being shown is that the government is going to interfere a little bit in this to try and slow this down, the shooting up oil prices, because the election's coming and neither side wants their constituents to be looking at their bill and blaming their elected officials. So they are going to be trying to do things to make that situation better. Partly because if you're buying, gas, you don't have a choice. You're not going to be buying something at Walmart or Target or the grocery store. And those constituents are responsible for Walmart and Target, and all of those people pay money to those campaigns too. So paying attention to that. I would say that we're really being influenced by the election year this time. And that's going to be influencing a lot of the decisions that our makers are making. So you guys already know that's happening, but that's really what's going on. There's a lot of PR going on. Back to the money issues, though. I was seeing, I know I'm about to say something that sounds bad, but I wasn't seeing it as a bad thing. I do see a lot of people going bankrupt this summer. I almost see like a bumper crop of these in our judicial system. And I will say most cases, what I'm feeling with the people that are going bankrupt is a sense of relief, right? They're no longer losing sleep over this issue. They're no longer having to feel bad all the time. It's kind of over. And some of them feeling like they wish they had done it a year ago. I hope that's not you. I'm sorry if that's going on for you. But that is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing it really in some ways being a positive thing because the money is up for people. I see a lot of people sitting down like with an Excel spreadsheet, going through line by line. How much are we paying on this? How much are we spending on milk? How much are we doing? And deciding if they feel comfortable with the amount of energy that's being expended in the terms of work to pay for this item. People making big and really truly very positive changes, because I do see that situation improving possibly next year, maybe more towards the end. I think we're going to have a recession call after the election. Surprise, surprise. After the election, they're going to say that we've been in recession since probably November of last year. Just know that that's coming. I do think we actually will get the recession call as things start to improve. It'll be like, yeah, you guys, you thought you were in recession. Yeah, you were. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah, we didn't mention it because of the election. There you go. Right. But I would embrace these changes instead of being fearful or upset. The people that are going to be in trouble are the ones that don't look at the finances, that just say, hey, we're just going to continue doing what we've been doing. I don't want to change my lifestyle. It's going to start to fall out of fashion to be overspending, to be over consuming. It used to be that, I personally used to make fun of people who would take like all their food with them when they went camping, when they went to hotels. And now I'm like, okay, what do I do? Do I bring in my Instapot? Is that helpful? And now I'm like bringing boxes of cereal and oat milk. And I think people will be having a little bit more fun with this. If you can make it playful, you're going to be in a much better situation. So in terms of what I'm seeing with the conflict raising prices, I do see a supply chain issues coming back. It's not going to be toilet paper like last time, but I do think there are going to be some items hit and miss that you won't be able to get, or you won't be able to get at a reasonable price. I don't know why I'm being shown this. Maybe one of you guys had this question, but it feels like grains, oddly enough. I'm seeing grains that we don't necessarily consume a lot of here in the US, but maybe our farm animals consume it. So I was thinking I don't know if that's sorghum or millet, but I'm seeing the prices of those things going up and it not coming to like popular discussion. But there will be some random things that you won't be able to get at what would be considered a normal price. The other thing that's coming up is car repairs. I hate to say this one, but like if you're the person that's trying to decide, do I get the brake job now or do I get it in a couple of months from now when the brakes are falling out of the car or it won't stop? I'm going to tell you that it's not going to be cheaper later. It's going to be more expensive. These mechanic shops, I see kind of an influx of cars going to the mechanic that you would normally have turned in and replaced with a new car. People aren't buying the new car. They're going to the mechanic shop and getting things done on their 150,000 mile Mazdas that they didn't used to do. So there is going to be an influx in pricing gouging basically by the part of these mechanics because they have more business than they can handle. There's nothing we can do about that, but I would just say add some extra into the budget for this. Some of it is that the parts themselves are going to be a little harder, I think, on some of these foreign cars. If you've got a Volkswagen or like an Audi, you might be paying more than normal. You're already paying more than most people anyway, so just know that game is going to get even more fun. Real estate market. Actually, the NAR lawsuit that happened is going to change the way the buyer's agents get paid. For those of you who don't know, that is going to cause a lot of confusion. Now, in the marketing world, the confused buyer doesn't buy. So I do think we're going to be seeing people not buying as many houses, not necessarily because they don't want to or because the interest rates are really high, although that is absolutely the case. It's going to be because there's confusion about how we pay people. How do we pay the buyer's agent? How do we get a contract? How much of this can we do ourselves? Things are going to take a little bit longer than expected to get to the marketplace where you can just buy a form online. You can't actually buy those forms now to put in an offer yourself. But I do see the confusion really impacting how many homes are sold. Now, if you're the real estate agent watching this saying, no, Jill, that's not going to happen. I'm happy to be wrong on that. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of real estate agents leaving the workforce and being kind of replaced with the legacy real estate agents, the ones that have been professional this whole time, that have been doing it for a long time and don't mind getting paid an hourly rate to show somebody a house. So I do think we're going to be seeing some massive changes for the better. I also think, though, initially the confusion is going to make it more difficult for these transactions to happen, just for a little while as we figure it all out. Politics. Oh, I love talking about politics because I know how much you guys love it. First of all, I don't have any skin in this game. I don't like either candidate. I'm just telling you that right now. I do see in the Congress and the House, I do see what the guys were showing me is that every single month there's going to be a new black swan event. We're going to be hearing, this has never happened in the history of the United States. This has never happened. Oh, this has never happened. Feels like every month there's somebody leaving, or there's going to be somebody changing parties. There's going to be some corruption scandal. We're going to be seeing that. They literally showed me every single month there was going to be one of these. Expect the unexpected is kind of the theme for what's going on from now on. It just kind of makes the game a little bit more fun. But if you can see it more as a game, I think it'll be less freaky. But that's kind of what I see. I still stand by my assessment that at least one, possibly both of the candidates won't be the ones on the ballot later. I'm kind of leaning towards thinking it won't be Trump, but I might be wrong. It could be that we replaced Biden with Newsom, which is kind of what I was seeing before. But I feel like they're still trying to decide on that one. And that'll kind of be an interesting to see what ends up happening. Because I'm feeling that hasn't quite been decided by the parties that be, if that makes sense. Conflict events, yes, it's going to get worse, like I said. People are asking me, when is this conflict events going to stop? It's going to change, is what I'm seeing. The guys were showing me that in the September area, it would be maybe less about Israel and more about something else. I wish I had good news on that, but I'm not necessarily seeing that being happy, and I don't want to end on that note. So I'm going to end on something else. The other thing I am seeing for most people individually is that if you look back at your life around the 2008, 2009 era and look at what was going on, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are almost on repeat. If you were buying a house in 2008, you're probably going to be buying a house now. If you were buying a car in 2008, you may be doing that again. If you were changing jobs, that may be coming up for you again. Look at what was going on 2008, 2009 and seeing what decisions you made then, because a lot of people are being given a chance to make a different decision. It's almost like a redo. So look at what was going on then if you want to see what's coming next for you. Because I bet if you sat down right now and looked at, what was I doing back then? Oh, yeah, that was going, oh my God, I did just have to deal with that. You're going to be able to see what's happening next. And again, I do think that for the United States, most people here are going to not even experience the effects of it beyond just being scared about what's going on. I do also see that the travel season, people are going to be doing less traveling. I think if you're trying to book something, wait if you can a little bit. Some things I know you can't wait if you're trying to book Yellowstone. I don't want to tell you that right now. But some things, if you can wait a little bit, you might get a better deal because as hotels bookings don't happen, they lower the price, and I do see a lot of people traveling by car rather than planes, not necessarily because people are scared, although that's part of it. The hassle factor of what's going to be happening with the planes, I think, is just going to irritate the heck out of people. I can't deal with that stuff either. Being sitting on a tarmac for a long time. No, we've all had that experience. Nobody wants that. I'd rather be in a car for 8 hours. So I think a lot of people are experiencing that. In general, look at happy videos on YouTube. There's a lot of them, a lot of cat videos. Surround yourself with people that you love. If you're getting a lot of intuitive awakenings, try joining a group. Be careful not to join a cult. Try to join a group that will help you develop those skills. I see a lot of clients who are getting more intuitive abilities and more intuitive gifts sort of showing up for them. And allow yourself to develop that so that you're getting more correct information. And work on having a happy, joyful summer, because a lot of people are going to start to look at particularly this money issue and say, I don't want to live like that anymore. I want to start a business. I don't want things to be like that anymore. I'm going to write a book and I'm going to sell it on Amazon. Not a great way to make money, by the way. Just ask me how I know this. People are going to be making massive changes as a result of some of the irritations that are happening right now. And these changes are going to end up being really, really positive. So on that note, have a great weekend, everybody. If you have questions for future versions of this, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And I hope you got something out of this. Thanks for sharing. Bye. Bye.